session, the third session of introduction to Raga therapy. So as usual, we'll begin with the influence of music on mind and body. In the last session, we saw how music influenced our mind through emotions, and we related rasa to raga. And while we discuss the influence of our body on by the music, the thing that comes into play was the frequencies. We have already seen the 12 repeating frequencies, the 12 notes in a keyboard, the 12 swaras in the Indian classical music. In fact, you might be wondering how 12 swaras are there. I will just explain to those who are confused. We usually tend to say about sapta swaras, the 7 swaras. But among these 7 swaras, sari, gama, pa, dha, ni, the sa and pa are the two bases. And we have a single note sa and single note pa. All the other notes have two variants. And that is how, so we have a re1 and re2, we have a ga1 and ga2, and that's how you get the 12 notes. So these are the 12 repeating frequencies. And when we deal with the influence of music on our body, we tend to see the sound wave interaction and the physical aspects of sound. We go more into sound physics. And then when we relate this sound physics to our body, we have already seen that every object in this universe is always in motion and thereby produce a sound. And another question that comes into play is that, does our body also produce sound? We already told that every object in the universe is always in motion and it produces sound. So does our body also produce sound? And the answer is yes. And these are some of the frequencies which have been recorded as the sounds of our body. Generally, the heart vibrates, or the cells or the tissues of heart vibrates at a frequency of 1 hertz. It can have some variations due to other physical conditions, like it can change with temperature. It can change during other times, like due to high pressure conditions, etc. So it generally tend to change, but generally the frequency vibration of heart is close to 1 hertz. Our lungs has a frequency of 6 hertz, and our brain has a frequency that lies between 5 to 10 hertz. Usually we see 7 hertz. And you know what? You know the concept of resonance. Knowing the frequency of different organs can give us a very, very big possibility of exploring the sound physics in numerous ways. It can be very hazardous as we have the recorded experiences of using sound as a bioweapon in Second World War. You know what they did? They invented a machine which could send a monotonous, pure tone frequency of 7 hertz, and this they used to produce a resonance with the frequency of brain of the enemies. And when the enemies were subjected to this 7 hertz, they tend to have many changes in their brain due to the process of resonance, and the intensity increased, and many of the enemies failed. Like they had many brain damages. Some even had to. It was very fatal actually. And this was the recorded experience or recorded incidents which have been recorded in our history, and the usage of bioweapon and usage of sound as a bioweapon in the Second World War. And you know what the funny part is? These enemies could not know that they were being exposed to this 7 hertz, because the minimum frequency that human ear can perceive is 20 hertz. And this is very less than 20 hertz. And when they are subjected to this 7 hertz, they don't even know that they are being attacked. That was how sound was used as a bioweapon. So the chances of the same principle we can even use in healing process. And while we try to apply sound physics in health, different vibrations of our body are taking place continuously. And what an analogy I would like to compare is that, like we already saw, heart is set in a particular frequency, the brain is set in a different frequency, the kidneys vibrate in a certain frequency, and so on. And just imagine a concert where different musicians play different instruments, all will be tuned to such frequencies, and when they're played together, it gives a harmony. Otherwise, it does not sound like a concert at all. The same way, our body also has different organs vibrating continuously at different frequencies. And I would like to define health based on this as health is a state of body when all the frequencies of vibration arising from different parts of the body are in harmony. It's like a concert. So health, I like to repeat the definition. Health can be defined as a state of the body when all the frequencies of vibration or all the sounds arising from different parts of the body are in harmony. The only thing is that human ear cannot hear all these frequencies. That is the only limitation. But still, we have a sound on our own. And any alteration from this harmony, any alteration of a particular organ from its normal physiological frequency can lead to a pathology, can lead to a disease. That is how I would like to see it. And you might not believe, I'd like to show you a small sample of music. Just listen to this, and after listening, I'll explain what that music was. Is it audible?
It's not very clear, Dr. Bharadwaj.
Okay. Is it now?
No, we can't hear it.
Okay. Or I'll just send you the link in the chat box after this. This music that you can hear, this is actually coronavirus. You might not believe it. This music is the representation of coronavirus. As I told, every object is in motion and every moving object produces sound. What the scientists did, you can just Google International Science Council, the sound of SARS-CoV virus, and you can listen to this track. This, what the scientists did, they just translated or they represented coronavirus in the form of a music. And this was like if specific proteins vibrate in specific frequencies. So if we were to create a database of this vibrating frequencies of these proteins, it would be very helpful to decode the geometrical structure of many unknown viruses and other microorganisms, because it is very easy to hear them than to see them in a microscope. So this experiment or this research is done in order to decode the structures of many microorganisms. But this for this, what they did was they just represented the vibrations of the proteins of a coronavirus in the form of a music, and they translated it into specific frequencies which we can hear. I already told you that there are 12 frequencies which tend to multiply throughout the spectrum. So these frequencies, they recorded it and they translated it to specific frequencies which we can hear. So this is an example of how you can express a living body in the form of music. Sounds very interesting, right? We all have a music on our own, and it would be very fun to listen to our representation as music. And what is the application in healing? Knowing the music of the body. You might all have, I hope you all will be familiar with the tuning fork experiment that you have done in your fundamental classes, in the science classes. What you do, you just keep two tuning forks together, and when you just tap a tuning fork, the other tuning fork also vibrates in the same frequency. So you can just tune one fork using the frequency of other. The same thing happens in case of the interaction of sound waves with the sound of our body. And this principle have been used in the treatment. It is still being used in by the Western scientists, many Western music therapists, in treating many different ailments. And one frequency they have found out is 40 hertz. This they consider as the magic frequency, because while dealing with different vibrations of brain, you get to classify the waves coming out of brain as alpha, beta, delta, and gamma. And the gamma rays coming out of the brain is very significant, and the alteration to the gamma waves. Usually the frequency of gamma waves is 40 hertz. There can be a little changes, but at 40 hertz, the gamma waves are very intact. And when the gamma waves are in 40 hertz, the person tend to be very healthy. And in many disease conditions, like say Alzheimer's, you tend to see a change in the frequency of gamma rays. So what they did, they just subjected these patients, these Alzheimer's patients, to this 40 hertz twice a day, 5 times in a week. And they got very astonishing results. After 3 years, when they tested this Alzheimer's patient, there was not a single deviation from his condition while it was tested 3 years before. Alzheimer's being a very progressive condition, to make such a result, to stop its progression, is it's actually a miracle in the field of medical science. So this is, and they also used 40 hertz in many other conditions like Parkinson's, anxiety and depression disorders, etc. And this 40 hertz is considered as a magical frequency by the Western music therapists. And another example is destruction of cancer cells. I already told you how sound waves can be used as a bioweapon. It can also be used as a weapon against weapon to destroy these cancers. And it was a very challenging thing to find a particular frequency that can specifically destroy cancer cells alone without causing any harm to our bodies. And throughout the course of experimentation, they found out that the 11th harmonic in music, we call it the 11th harmonic. That is, if you play a frequency and along with another frequency which is 11 times the first frequency, those two frequencies are played together. And when such two frequencies were played simultaneously, they tend to observe destruction of cancer cells alone without harming other cells. And there are videos available in YouTube how cancer cells get destroyed. They just explode out while they are subjected to these the 11th harmonic frequencies. The 11th harmonic is the term used in music. And then there is the concept of binaural beats. Binaural beats is very extensively used in music therapy, because even in YouTube, you can find so many binaural beats tracks. Binaural beats tracks are used for anxiety, depression. It's used to increase the energy. There are binaural beats for inducing sleep. There are binaural beats to increase your concentration. And you can even find binaural beats to increase your hair growth. The concept of binaural beats is that you tend to introduce two different frequencies on both ear. You, for example, if you introduce 400 hertz in left ear and 440 hertz in the right ear, your brain tend to perceive it as the difference between these two frequencies. So when you subject 400 hertz in one ear and 440 hertz in the other ear, your brain treats it as 40 hertz, the difference between two frequencies. And this is used therapeutically very extensively. This is the concept of binaural beats. All these are applications of sound physics in healing. And coming to Indian sciences, you can find the concept of nada in many of the Vedic texts or Vedic derived texts. There is a branch of yoga called Nada Yoga and so on. Nada is basically classified into two types, Ahata Nada and Anahata. Nada means sound, that's it. And Ahada Nada means obstructed, and Anahata Nada means unobstructed. And I would like to believe that this Anahata Nada that is explained in the Indian sciences refer to this continuous vibrating frequencies that is all pervasive throughout the universe. So Nadanusandhana is the term that can be correlated to research on sound. Anusandhana means research and Nada means sound. So the Nadanusandhana, if we do it specifically on Anahata Nada, I believe that we can make wonderful results. Coming to what Ayurveda can contribute. The beauty of Ayurveda lies in its holism. Unlike Western science, which is based on the reductionism, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. But Ayurveda is based on holism. Ayurveda tends to see the body as a whole, and whatever be the process, be it your digestion, be it your excretion, be it your sensory or motor activities, be it your assimilation process, be it your endocrine process, all the processes can be classified under three headings under the functional entities of body, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And the thing is that even mental disorders are classified. Mental disorders like Unmada, Apasmara, which include epilepsy, etc. These are also explained in terms of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha in Ayurveda. So this gives us a very, very big platform to research upon, because if we just find out how these frequencies or how these sound waves affect Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, it becomes very easy. The whole process of healing through music becomes very, very easy. That is the beauty of Ayurveda. And that is what we can get if we integrate Ayurveda with the Indian music. Specifically Indian music, because these ragas, speaking in terms of in the language of physics, we can define ragas as permutation and combination of selected frequencies of sounds. So if we study influence of ragas on doshas, the whole process of healing becomes very, very easy. Also, in fact, we have many texts like Sangeeta Ratnagara, etc., which have quoted many references about influence of sound on these doshas. For example, there is a reference called Gambhiro Dhanalinastu Vijnayo Piktajo Dhvani. It means that any sound, any dhvani, any nada that is Gambhira, that is Ghana, and that is Leena can often increase Pitta in our body. But the problem is that we don't have enough knowledge to find out how a Gambhira Nada or a Ghana Nada or a Leena Nada sound like. So that is the blind part, and that's the dark side, which we need to throw some light upon. And that is hopefully, I think we can find about more influence of music on doshas in the near future itself. probably through clinical research. And so this concept of music of your body being influenced by external music, you just think about it. Each and every cell of your body too is enjoying the music. Each and every cell of your body is vibrating, and definitely it is interacting with any music you hear. Each and every cell of your body has its own consciousness, and it is enjoying the music that you hear. This would mean that future hospitals will be centers of joy, because specific patients with specific diseases can be made to reside in a room where specific music tracks are played, and without knowing itself, their cancer and other diseases will be healed just by listening to this music. And that will be a very, very painless system of healing, a non-invasive system of healing. And that is what I am looking forward to. As a take-home message, I'd like to give some more ragas, 5 more ragas, and their benefits. The raga Panduvarali, which I just mentioned in the last session. It is a very dangerous raga as well, because it has its side effects. It gives a stable anchor to the mind, and it reduces problems due to vada, but still it can have very deep effects on your mind. Panduvarali has it has a different name called Kamavardhini, and some musicians tend to relate Kamavardhini to another raga which is called Hamsanandi, which is very close to Panduvarali. Then we have this Varali, which is very good for gastric problems, skin problems, etc. Then we have the raga Vasanda, which is good for stroke patients. We have the raga Kapi, it is good for anxiety and depression. Then the famous Raga Desh, it relaxes the senses. Our national song, the Vande Mataram, is Raga Desh, relaxes the senses, it improves reproductive health. So these are some general recorded benefits of ragas. And as Dr. Nehaji was telling in the last session, it is very difficult to prescribe a single raga to a single medical condition, because in Ayurveda, we tend to, after analyzing the doshas, the doshic constituent of the constituency of the body, only then can we advise a medicine. So it makes Ayurvedic treatment very, very specific. And in Ayurveda, the examination includes 2 parts. First is the Roga Pariksha, and then is the Rogi Pariksha, which is very, very important. The part of Rogi Pariksha is as important as Roga Pariksha. Roga Pariksha is examination of Roga or the disease, while Rogi Pariksha is examination of the patient itself. And the medicine will be prescribed usually only after these 2 parikshas and taking into account a whole lot of things. So if 2 people come with fever, say Rahul has a fever and say another Ajay has a fever, we tend to analyze the condition of their fever. Even if they are same, the both have similar type of fever, their body constitution will be different. Rahul is entirely different and unique from Ajay. So in Ayurveda, we don't consider it as fever and medicine for fever. We consider it as Rahul's fever and Ajay's fever, and we prescribe medicine for Rahul's fever and Ajay's fever separately. So even if their condition is same, they will be given different medicines. And that is the beauty of Ayurveda, and that is the strength of Ayurveda, and that makes Ayurvedic treatment more specific. And same thing we can apply in Raga therapy also. So 2 people with different conditions will be prescribed different music pieces as medicine, and that will be based on the Priya and Hita, as I told earlier. Priya is the liking of the particular person, and Hita is what is beneficial for that person. So this is an overview about Raga therapy, and this is what I have learned in my very, very limited experience about Raga therapy. And I'm very, very happy to share these things with you. I would like to conclude by thanking the UK Arogyam team and also specifically Dr. Nehaji and Dr. Skandesh for giving me such an opportunity. And it was very, very motivating and inspiring for me too. And I'm very humbled to have got a chance to work with you all. Thank you. I guess we'll take a few questions before entering into the therapy session.
I think we are more clear, Dr. Bharadwaj, with the practice we've been going through. So if anybody still has any question, yeah, feel free to write in the chat box or ask, but I don't see any yet. So I think we can move to the practice session if you don't mind.
Okay, definitely.
Thank you.
So we move on to the therapy session, the practice session. As I told you, this time just concentrate and just focus, just observe how each part of your body is enjoying the music. Along with relaxing your body parts, also observe how each part is reacting to the music that you hear. So first, be seated in a comfortable position in a comfortable place and close your eyes. The raga I'm going to put today, I'm going to play today, is called Bhupali. It's same as Raga Mohanam. Just how your body is reacting to this. body getting relaxed. Concentrate on your face. Slowly relax your face. Gently focus where your ankle your ankle is happy. Let your ankles enjoy this music. Gently relax your ankles. Release the stress to calm yourself. Gently observe Your hip and your as your lower back and all you and down. Exhale, inhale, your thighs, Thank you for your cooperation. It was very thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bharadwaj. We have just a few questions in the chat box if you can take that on. And today the sound wasn't that clear. So for our self-practice, as you mentioned, you will share the link so that we can hear it later as well. So if you don't mind sharing that in the chat box, so all of us can go back and practice again.
Sure, I can do that. No issue. And I think I'll answer the questions. Out of 100 patients treated with Raga therapy, how many on average would have a significantly successful result? What is the success rate? In fact, the success rate would depend more upon the um, and the extent of success. That too will depend mostly on how better you can customize your medicine, how better you can customize the music piece that you're given. But on a general basis, um, the success rate, in fact, tend to depend upon the group and how far the music piece used in treatment go on hand in hand with the interests of the group. That is a significant thing. But in other cases, we have got about 40 to 60% success rate while we um, researched with the other um, sound frequency, just the sound frequency. So what we do is, I told you the case of 40 hertz. So what we did was, first in my first session, I had shown how what are the three steps in formation of a music. So in the first step was introducing a resonant frequency or producing a framework of sound on which the rest of the music will be built upon. So this resonant frequency will be chosen as 40 hertz, and all the other music pieces will be built on top of this, and the person will be made to hear it about 10 to 20 minutes a day, twice in a day, for 5 days in a week. That was the usual process, and we got about 40 to 60% success rate. And the success rate also depended upon if the patient liked that music track or not. So I would like to mention that the customization will be the key factor that will that can influence the extent of success that you have in music therapy. And the next question. Thank you so much for okay. Is vocal music better than instrumental in raga therapy? Okay. There are few things. Like when we do music therapy, there are very different types of administration of therapy. Some people tend to find very good result, find very effect when we tend to use vocal therapy. It's because they tend to relate themselves more with the lyrics of the song than the musicality of the song. So there are experiences when the patients were given a film song and then they were asked to change the lyrics of the song but not the tune, according to their will, according to their experiences, and so on. And they found it very interesting and very effective in um, lifting up their spirits while they changed the lyrics of the song and sang it out. Some patients tend to find it more effective when they are made to sing their favorite music tracks, while some others tend to listen more and they prefer listening more than singing. So there are different types of execution of this music therapy. And one limitation which I have found with vocal music is that when we do a community therapy session, it is very difficult to play a vocal music piece because some people when the music piece played becomes a vocal piece, there is a language in it most often, and people usually have a tendency to relate themselves to the language part of the music, and then we don't get their attention completely on the musicality of the piece. So the raga therapy won't be that effective, and they tend, and some people who are completely foreign to that language will feel very isolated from the therapy session. So there are certain limitations like that while applying vocal therapy, but during customization of treatment, I think vocal music piece will be very effective, because it can even um, sound very homely for the patient, because if it is a music effective, and he will have a particular liking towards that language as well. So in customized music therapy, I prefer vocal music as a better tool. Um, okay, also I would like to mention that we have not been able to conduct a systematic study in this regard, and we are looking forward for doing that as well. And I hope we'll get miraculous results in the near future itself. And I would also like to urge you all to install a small speaker system in your workplace or in your homes, and just experiment yourself and experiment with the different music pieces, and just observe how each day goes on with each music piece, and how your body is enjoying the music each day differently while you play different music pieces, and how the entire workplace, the atmosphere of the workplace gets changed by a music piece. So just try it out in your workplace, in your homes, etc. And it definitely will give you good results. Hope I have answered most of the questions.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much, Dr.